Yes, 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 it is the Castworthy Podcast, and we are back. I am Big Steve, aka Last of a Dying Breed on the Twitter machine, joined today by one EJ the Savage. We're running the two-man break today. The VP can't be here, but we are. What's going on, man? I see you got the Christmas green on, trying to hold on to the last days of cold weather.
Still cold here, champ. Not
Polo
letting up.
down to the socks.
It's not letting up here.
What y'all at, like 40, 45?
Uh, 59 right now.
That ain't bad.
Yeah.
That ain't bad. Inching closer and closer. I mean,
Don't feel like
damn, it's damn near June, but
it. Right.
damn, shit's crazy. Yeah, global warming's a thing, yo.
It gotta be.
It is, yo, because it's crazy because they call it global warming, but adverse effect because it's only been in the 80s here, and usually by now it's scorching. Like motherfuckers be at the beach, and you know what I mean. Like it's usually hot as shit. So, yeah, first world problems, man. My pool is freezing. That's basically what I'm getting at. Fucking water is fucking. Put my foot in yesterday, and I just don't get it. I don't get it. Had to
That's
find a way to
nasty.
heat it. It was bad. You have an eventful week or weekend? I see you was out with the fam bam yesterday.
Yeah, man. Got 3 of my nieces, man. Came and saw the kid, so that was pretty cool.
They're up in New York still, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah. Made the trek. Come see the
nice.
kid. You know,
That's
you know how
good.
it is.
That's good. A little luncheon,
Yeah. A lot of
bruncheon,
drinking. A lot of
a lot
drinking.
of drinking. They're
Yeah.
legal.
Yep.
Damn, you old.
Exactly.
Shit.
Exactly. That's how I feel. Not a drinking recovery right now.
Yeah.
Only big recovery.
What
So
you was
what you been up
drinking?
to, man? Same thing. Bourbon, lots of it. I told you gotta come out here, man. Waiting for you to come for the Yankees games.
You are a creature of habit.
Stick with it.
No
Stick with it.
change.
Yeah. Actually, I had tequila Friday. I hate tequila. I hate it.
Hmm.
It's just nasty.
Hmm.
Burns different.
I like tequila. It opens many doors.
Don't
Lots
they
of
all?
lots of conversations happen over tequila shots, man.
Don't
Business
they all?
moves, all of that. Um, yeah, nothing too crazy going on here. Same old shit. Cool out. Well, not cool, but it feels real good, man. I'm in 80s in the daytime, 70s in the evening. Like this is like the perfect weather. If it could stay like this year round, and even if it wasn't, if it was just like this was the summers, oh my god, this has got to be what they talk about, like when they say Southern California, like when they talk about the perfect fucking weather. Like this
Mm-hmm.
shit is amazing. It's not hot at night, so you can, you know what I'm saying, you can go out and live your life. And realistically, the way it was last night with a little breeze, you could get away with a little long sleeve polo if you wanted to and not sweat your ass off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Shit, it was Friday night. It was cold. Last night it was just cool, man. And I've had on long sleeve and sweatshirts the last like 3 days. It's crazy,
Yeah, yeah.
insane, man.
I want to. I was gonna try and wait a little bit to bring it up, but I gotta bring it up now. I want to address and get rid. How do we cancel? Like, can we start our own cancel culture? Like, I think it's time to cancel people. Like this fad. I don't want to cancel people. Let's cancel fads. Like you got this fad now that everybody's time is like worth millions and shit. Like you go on Facebook, you go through the reels, and it's like, oh, don't ask me my price. Don't ask me for a discount. I don't got the best price. My time is the best. My product's the best. It's not. The video you're posting with that caption is not the best. It's far off of it. Like, what's up with this, man? Our culture, I mean, I get it. Listen, man, time is valuable. My time is valuable. Your time is valuable. Everyone's time is valuable. It's the one thing you don't get more of. You know what I'm saying? Um, but let's be realistic, man. Like, let's be realistic.
People making themselves more important than they are and taking themselves
Right.
too seriously.
Right.
That
You power
that's what's
washing
going on.
driveways, my dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, much better than the next person can you be at power washing a driveway? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I just woke up in my
Woke up in
Grinch,
your bag.
yeah, maybe Scrooge McDuck type shit today. But
Hmm.
like it's everywhere you turn. Like, oh, my time, I'm don't ask for no undercuts, bitch. Stop, stop. Your
Yeah.
cakes don't look that good. The fondant is bad. Like, the shit don't look like a Jordan. It's just a big box, and you put a fucking little man on it. Like, come
Yeah. Yeah.
on.
I get it. I get it. Yeah. Everyone's the fads, and I don't know. You're right, man. We our people we get on the wrong train sometimes. Like we talk about that all the time. Like wish we had better movements and better things that
For
were
real,
more
man.
important. But what can you do?
Let the consumer be the judge. You know, like, you know what it is. I think it's people turn on. It's the access. We always talk about access and everything we talk about, and the access to these big stars and shit like that, and how they speak, make these local, like, you're big in Arkansas, dog. Like, like you're big in Arkansas, in a city that has you know 3,500 people. You know, stop, stop,
Think they're celebrities, huh?
just stop. Come on. I don't know, man. I get the whole, you gotta value yourself and you gotta know your value. I'm with that. I'm fully with that. But you also gotta know when you're overvaluing. You also gotta know, what's realistic.
Right. Right. You ain't all that, bro. You ain't all that.
Right. Please stop. Okay. Um. All right. Maybe it's too early to hate. Uh.
Never too
Is,
early.
is there any topics that we can get off to on a good foot? We missed bingeables last week.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good starting point. You been watching anything different? Anything new?
I watched the first episode of the new HBO series, We Own the Night. Think that's it.
Wasn't that
It
a movie?
Nah, well, that was a movie.
Did they make it a
Oh,
show
We
too?
Own the City or something like that.
Okay.
It's basically a Baltimore-based HBO show. The creators, well, one of the creators or writers, I think singer uh from The Wire is behind it, and
Okay.
then you got a couple of other writers. Um, I can't remember his name, but they basically
Oh
are,
yeah,
yeah,
we
they're
own this
basically
city. Okay.
right. They're basically writing the story about exposing the corruption in the Baltimore City Police Department years
Mm,
ago, and yeah, and it's surrounded by the gun task force, the gun trace task force,
yeah.
and the death of Keith Suter, I think is his name. That was a detective that supposedly had killed himself. So it was interesting. Um, you got John Barenthal as one of the lead actors. I don't remember the sister's name that was in Lovecraft Country, but she played one of the sisters in Lovecraft Country. She's an English, British actor, British African actor. She's in it. Then you got many of the old stars from The Wire. You got Marlowe in there. You got
Really?
yeah, it's basically like you're looking at The Wire just in another light. And I watched the first episode. I
I want to
wasn't that
watch it.
impressed.
I like Bernthal. And I always feel like he always has always been like a B level talent in his movie or shows rather. So like
Hmm.
Walking Dead, you know what I'm saying? He ended up you thought he was going to be the guy and then they killed him off because Rick turned out to be the guy, you know.
Smoked them, yo.
Yeah, like I like him, man. Anytime his face pops up, like I feel like it's a pretty he does a good job channeling what I think he's got range. He's got good range is basically what
He's
I'm
a
trying
hell
to
of an
say.
actor. He really is. I didn't like him as a Punisher. You know, I killed him for that
That was
role,
the
but
one that I was gonna say. I didn't that was the one I was gonna say I didn't like him in.
I hated him as the Punisher. But you know, even when he was in that movie where they were doing where they were talking about the history of the Ford cars and all of that. You
Mhm.
remember that when Matt Damon was in that? He smokes his roles, man. And even this role, um, I can't remember where he's actually originally from, but he takes on the Baltimore accent and all of that kind of stuff. So he kind of really immersed himself in this role. But I'm not too impressed with the first episode so far. So we'll see.
Yeah, he was in. I did. You know, I saw the. Now that you mention it, I saw the uh the preview for it. So um, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna check it out. It looks like it's only so it says it's only 6 episodes. It's only gonna be 6 episodes. So I look forward to watching it. I think it's gonna be
And that's gonna be interesting to see what it's gonna be like if it's only 6 episodes and the first one kind of started off pretty slow. But it you know it's lining up everything that we knew to go on with the scandals of the Baltimore Police Department. So it's gonna be interesting to see how far they try to go and really make this thing happen. So yeah,
yeah.
I'll be interested to see that. And I started watching Peacemaker too, which I
Peace.
thought was super funny with John Cena. You hate John Cena.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thought it started out pretty funny, but now it's kind of like, okay, where's this thing going? Like, so I kind of lost interest like 4 or 5 episodes in. So yeah,
Yeah, no, I didn't get I never got back to that. I did watch that first episode, but I think I fell asleep on it or I turned it off maybe because I didn't like it early on. But I mean maybe I'll give it a shot.
yeah. I mean, it started out funny, but you know, then it's just like I don't know. I have to get back to it because now I'm invested, but the
Hmm.
writing just tails off, and it's just like, okay, what's going on here? You know.
Yeah.
So that is
I
interesting.
You know what I never got back to was what's the one on Disney Plus?
Oh, Moon Knight.
Yeah, I actually liked the first I think I watched only one episode or two. I actually liked them. I just completely forgot about it, and I noticed it, or I just remembered it when you said when you were talking about that.
Peacemaker. Yeah, the consensus on Moon Knight, I killed it, and a lot of people are killing it. It's just, it's not good. It's just not good. And then it's, Marvel. We always talk about how Marvel goes away from the content and the source content, and sometimes it's okay, and sometimes it's acceptable. But they went so far left. I think people really hate it for that.
Really,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
but it doesn't build off of anything, does it? Like it's not building off of anything current.
I think it has its connections, but it's not too obvious. It's not too evident. But then again, I'd have to go back and watch because I stopped watching it. I started
Yeah,
watching it maybe after episode 3.
and they got
So
all these. They're trying to move into this next phase with all these new shows and stuff. Um, so it might play in, and we just aren't sure how they're gonna loop this shit in yet.
it definitely should play in when you think about the character and what he's connected to.
Hmm.
But like I always say, I don't see why they felt the need to come out with a series about a guy that had a popular run in the '90s, but then you're not even doing it the way it's supposed to be done. Like Moon Knight is literally a ripoff of Batman. The creators literally ripped off Batman. So it was, this millionaire guy going out there doing, vigilante stuff. This guy that they got going on, they've taken it into a whole nother universe. So I don't know what the play is. And like I keep saying, I think Marvel and Kevin Feige think that they have so much clout that they can just do whatever and that people are gonna love it. You can make all of these backdoor connections and it's gonna make sense, 5 movies from now. But you know what I'm saying? Like the people that want to just be entertained, they're looking to just be entertained. The people like you
Yeah.
that don't really know, what this is really about, the backstory, they just want to be entertained. And you gotta have that happen. And if you're not
Right.
doing that, your elaborate plan doesn't look great right now, but people want right now. you know?
Yeah. You got
So
people watching this shit for entertainment. So later on, when one of the movies pop and then there's a closing or after credit scene that reverts back to this, the people that watched it for entertainment are gonna not. They're not gonna know what the fuck it was. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna be able to connect the dots. It's just not. It's not the thinking of someone like to your point that's watching it for entertainment.
yep. Like you
So
said, you gotta get the asses in the seats and you gotta give them something. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. The consensus that I've literally been hearing, I've seen people try to give it a chance, and I've seen other people like, nah, can't do it. You know,
yeah,
so
yeah. I'm gonna go through and finish it. I enjoyed the little bit that I did watch. So unless it gets bad, then I won't. But I'm gonna watch. Anything else you've been watching?
mm, I'm just trying to catch stuff on Amazon, here and there. Nothing too crazy that I can think of right
I've
now.
been I've been Netflixed up lately. It's like sometimes when I get into the Netflix algorithm, they'll take me down this fucking wild goose chase, and I start watching all types of shit. So
Down the rabbit
um
hole.
yeah, yeah. So I watched the series called I think Vari might have brought it up. It's called Ultimatum.
Okay.
On Netflix. Nicholas Shea does it, him and his wife. And
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, basically it's they start off with, I want to say it's 10 couples. And the idea or the premise is um one person in that couple wants to be married, and one person in the couple is basically saying they're not ready for marriage. And the person that's ready, either the guy or the female, is giving an ultimatum and saying, hey, listen, let's go on the show. You're gonna date somebody from that show, live with them for 3 weeks as like a temp wife type of thing, trial wife or husband. Um, and then we're gonna rekindle and do our 3 weeks, and at the end of it, see how we make out. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Um,
insane.
it is absolutely insane, and as you watch it, it's crazy. It's crazy. But it makes you think about a lot of shit. Makes you think like, and so um spoiler, it's not it's not full of sex, right? So you would think in a situation like that leaded quickly to sex and stuff, then it's super super crazy. But I think, and it probably did, probably with like a first set of cast, like this is probably like their fifth or sixth cast, like, you know what I'm
hmm
saying? So you think about when they're filming something like this, they probably bring a cast in, and they it doesn't work because individuals are just sluts, dudes and girls for that matter. They get in and they're like, well, this is an opportunity. I'm gonna go ahead and beat up. Um, so the spoiler on this final that they put out, which is season one, there's not a bunch of that. There's actually people truly, it seems, trying to work on their relationships, their marriage, or the relationships leading to marriage. And you swap. So what they do basically is day one, all the couples go down and you kind of do speed dating. You know what I'm saying? So like I might speed date with your chick, you might speed date with mine and whoever, right? And then after, a day of that, then they go into a room and the people were given ultimatums, choose somebody, right? So you might choose, Rebecca, 27 from Kansas, right? And and then boom, that's you and Rebecca are now together, right? And you live for 3 weeks as if you're a married couple. And the idea is that you really take on that role. So you get in, you have your conversations, you do whatever, right? But you act as a married couple, and you should learn and grow through it. 3 weeks away from your partner, But as you watch it, obviously, it's not truly realistic because if these people really are head over heels about somebody going into it, you know, 3 weeks is not going to be enough really
Yeah,
to change your
3 week
mind.
3 weeks is all you need to to lose the person you've been with. That's
Right.
crazy.
But also 3 weeks, exactly 3 weeks of change, because it's perfect, because this person is just different from what you've experienced for however long. And I guess maybe that's why it seemed like the cap on the relationships was about 2 years for all of them. Because if
Mm,
you're talking about a 5, 10, 15 year relationship, you know you're probably ready for a change, and that 3 weeks can really be like, oh shit, this is the life I've been waiting for.
wow,
So, but it's
that's
interesting.
insane.
Yeah, it's interesting. So basically, and I say it started with 10 couples because they ended with only six, um, finishing the season, right? So it's only 10 episodes, nine are content, and then the 10th episode is the reunion. But it's actually pretty good. I look forward to seeing the next season. I think after watching it, they're gonna have a hard time getting people to go on there
Mhm.
because the people that want to be married are going to be standoffish
Yeah.
based on some of the results. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like it's that shit is intense, yo. Like it's intense. Like you can watch it and you can tell and feel some of the emotion that those people were dealing with at times. Like it's
That's I
crazy.
mean, that's nuts when you putting all of that up on the line in 3 weeks, like, why would you even play with that? Were there
Bruh.
were there any black people?
There was.
How many? And were they real black people?
There was one real black person. Actually, no, there was probably two. One dude and one girl. They weren't in the same relationship though. They were in two
Mm,
different relationships. But the dude, like, he came up rough. He had a rough life, and
mhm.
I don't want to spoil it because you'll know who he is immediately. But he had a rough life, and you could see it. He's definitely one of us. You know what I'm saying? Definitely one of us. Shuts down, gets frustrated, gets angry, like for real. And then the girl, she's like one of us, but one of us that grew up like well off. Like you can tell she
Mhm.
bougie, but she want to be hood kind of thing, or she hangs out with hood people, but she might be from the other side of 8 Mile type shit.
Right, right.
Um,
On the other side of 8 Mile. Did
yeah.
you watch this with the wife or did you watch this solo?
No, I watched it solo. It actually, this would be a good binger for someone in a relationship to watch with their sig, like no doubt. Um, it could probably lead to some fights, some arguments,
Yeah.
if you're watching it and you're candid. Um, and it could also lead to some maybe some positive outlook on things, because you see, as you watch it, you see like it's 10 different personalities, or six really is the bulk of it, but you're seeing the different personalities and different shit that everyone goes through in relationships. You know what I'm saying? And there's relatable situations in there, and I think there's a relatable situation for any relationship you're in, whether you're in a great perfect relationship and you just want it to be good, and you don't want to go this way, or you're in a great relationship and you're like, well, let me give it a shot and see if it works, or you're in a bad relationship, or you're in a okay relationship. Like there's so many different situations in the 9 episodes, that it's good. I think if someone was to watch it with their significant other, for real.
Mm.
So yeah.
Mm. Mm.
uh I also watched I've been watching this show called Bullshit. Howie Mandel has a new show. It's a game show on Netflix, and it's called Bullshit. And basically, the idea is there's four contestants. One person is the bullshitty, and the other three are the ones that have to call bullshit. And so it's trivia. So you're Howie. Howie asks, or Howie's Howie. He asked me a question, and he's like, hey, some weird ass question, right? John Bernthal starred in blah 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 and died in what episode? And I'm like, shit, episode 7. They give you different choices. 7 might be wrong. I don't know it, so I'm like 7. Then he's like, all right, well, tell them what your answer is. I'm like, yeah, episode 7, I remember clearly after episode 6, the zombies, blah, 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 right? And then it's up to you to determine whether what I told you is accurate. I really did know it going into it and I chose the right answer, or I just told you a bullshit story.
Hmm.
And so each time there's an amount of money and it increases. But what's in it for you is the more accurate you are on guessing whether I'm bullshitting or I was telling the truth gets you closer to being able to come down and play for the $1 million.
Mm.
So it sounds easy, like you could just sit there and call bullshit every time, stop somebody from getting money. But if the person really did know the answer, then you're screwing up your ratios and you won't have a chance to get down there. So um, it's actually pretty interesting. I think I watched fucking 7 episodes of it back to back yesterday. So and I like Howie Mandel. Like I think I've always liked him since shit.
Bobby's World.
Right, right. Damn, yeah. So, so I've been watching that too. What else did I watch, man? I watched something else on Netflix.
I
I
haven't I
could,
haven't turned on Netflix in a while.
I usually Netflix isn't always my go-to, but I forget what I went on there to check out, and then I ended up on Ultimatum.
So
Oh,
the
you know what it was? I went to go see what the start date of the Circle is, which is May 4th, and
you love the circle.
I do love the Circle. I do love the Circle. If they could put the Circle and then have it end and bullshit start, and then bullshit end and it start, like they could kill it.
Ozark. I think everybody's been talking about Ozark in the, I guess,
Yeah,
the second half of it or something. I still haven't gotten past what, season 2, because it just had that unreal feel to me.
yeah. It's ending. These are the last episodes for Ozark, and so I'm trying not to watch it only because this season, the first half and this half are the only ones that I haven't watched. Like I've watched all the way up to it. So and I started this season, but I um I just didn't get a chance to watch it. So um I want to watch it, but I don't want spoilers. Like I already saw somebody post something with like an emoji, and I'm like, yeah, that means there's gonna be spoilers coming. So as soon as I see somebody say Ozark, I skip past whatever they posted.
Yeah, I just can't get into it. I just can't get into it. Like when that happened and when they went to Ozarks, right? And the cartel dude comes down, the boss comes down. The
Hmm.
main dude that forced his hand to do all of this in the first place just
Hmm.
comes down there and gets shot by the dude's wife. Like, really? It's not real. Just not
Well,
real.
yeah, I think I thought the writing was pretty good, even though it was unrealistic. Um, and I just like Jason Bateman a lot. Like I think he's really good, a really good actor. I think he's got crazy range, um, and his delivery is just different. I like him, but I think also with Ozark, I think they happen to catch people, the bulk of people in COVID. During the lockdown.
True. That is very
You
true.
know, and during the lockdown, a lot of stuff was kind of either put on hold, paused, couldn't roll out because they didn't have enough episodes and shit. So people were getting to the end of the internet basically, of anything decent, and this was one of the decent shows. So you had a chance to binge it back to back, and I think that's what happened. I think people fell in love with it because of that, and me included. I mean, I binged it and I watched it very quickly back to back. But going back to it, as I started this final season, and maybe it just starts slow, it didn't reel me in like the first time. So,
Right. Right. Yeah. I
but
can dig it. I can dig it.
yeah, man,
I don't know if I'm ever get back to it, but I mean, it's just like Breaking Bad. I never got into it.
I know, and I've tried Breaking Bad so many times, yo. Like so many times, I see it and I'm like, "Ah, I don't got shit else to watch. Let me try it." And I've gotten through one season, but it's just, nah,
Can't do it. Can't do it.
nah, it ain't for me, man.
Bruh, NBA playoffs, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. NBA playoffs have been crazy. Actually, really good. For the most part. Um,
Last we talked, Brooklyn was still alive.
Brooklyn was still alive last time we talked, and
Got swept.
they ended up getting swept. I think it's time to start putting some respect on Jason Tatum's name, like some real respect. Like,
I think he's been earning that. But I think the other problem is, and I've been saying this the entire time, that Brooklyn team ain't what people think it is. KD and Kyrie ain't who we think they are. You know what I mean? Because when you look at it, right? KD's success came when he's with Steph.
uh, his win came then, but he's been a great player since he came in the league.
No doubt. But we're talking about the win.
He- oh yeah, like that kind of success,
Yeah,
absolutely, no
yeah.
doubt.
And now he was put on this Brooklyn team. These guys were so arrogant to say, "Well, we don't need a coach, a real coach. We got Steve Nash. He'll let us do what we want to do, and all is well." And comes down to it, him and Kyrie didn't, for whatever reason. And I said I thought it was going to be largely because of injury that they weren't going to play together, but it wound up being COVID, uh, and they didn't play together very long,
Hmm.
And this is what happens, and they got
Yeah,
bounced. And then when you look at that team, they just don't play defense.
yeah.
I mean, they stepped it up in the playoffs, but
I think they play defense, but they take a lot of series off, like a lot of series off, and the critical times when there's a need for defense is where they're taking off. They're up 14 points. So they're like, let's lay back a little bit, preserve our energy. But Boston gets at you quick, and that's what happened. At least game one, they ran through them fast, and they came back and
mhm,
they ended up winning. I think if they had Harden, it's a different story. That team was built to have all three of those guys, to have three
yep,
stars,
yep,
and not having it, you missed out. Like Kyrie came back and he was hot, and KD was okay, but then he stopped being aggressive. Like he started pussyfooting out there. And the reason I say Jason Tatum deserves some respect is because not only did he go out there and score his face off, but he D'd up, pause, KD every single game, all game. Like it wasn't like, oh well, I'm gonna play him just on in the fourth quarter, which is what other stars that people might call goats do. Like
right,
they play defense on the B level guy, but on the A level guy they'll save it for the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left or some shit. Like no, Tatum was on KD all game, every game, and even the other side, KD did that to LeBron when he was in Golden State, but he didn't do that with Tatum.
right.
So you're seeing, I think we're starting to see. I mean, we've seen the emergence of a Jason Tatum, and I just hope that this kid continues to get better. If he does, man, Boston's gonna be a team to be reckoned with for a while.
Yeah, it's definitely his team going forward. And when the questions have been for a long time, who's the guy, Jalen Brown or him? And it's clearly him. Brown is
Hmm.
good, but he contractually they're probably gonna have some issues going forward. But yeah, it's definitely Jason Tatum's team for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, they've learned to coexist, and we talked about that before the playoffs started. We both said if they can learn to coexist, they'd be a dangerous team,
Yep.
and they are. It's gonna be who do they play? Oh well, they got they got
Milwaukee.
Giannis and them boys. So this is a true test. Like this is a true test. Both teams are very defensive teams, defensive units. um, I don't see them stopping Giannis. I don't think anyone can stop this guy. He's two steps from the 3 point line and he's into a layup. Like that's
Him,
unheard of.
Middleton, and Holiday.
Yeah. Drew, right? Drew is probably gonna that's gonna be a good matchup to see him and Marcus Smart because they both play really good defense. Um I think if I'm them, I would put Drew on Jalen Brown, um, or Tatum. Because Giannis, I think, is going to be a step too slow for Tatum. He'll probably D him, but he's going to be a step slow. Um, I think it's going to be a really good series, man. And it's easy to say Milwaukee's going to win just off of how they've ended the season, how they've been in the playoffs, and also last year. But Boston's they've been good, and if they come out with the same intensity they did against Brooklyn, they can play that kind of defense. It might be a long series, man. We might see 6 or 7.
Nah, I got Milwaukee in five.
Yeah,
Got Milwaukee in five.
you drank too much yesterday.
I,
Uh,
I just don't think while Boston is great, they did good. They did what they had to do against Brooklyn. I just didn't think that Brooklyn team was that good. Let's not forget they were 10th seed. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? They
yeah,
they weren't that good all year round to me, So I just think Milwaukee's different, man. I really think
yeah.
Milwaukee's different. In
I
the
think
West, your
the
boy Chris Paul out here balling.
Yeah, I think the key is if Middleton's going to be healthy for Milwaukee because he didn't play that last game. So if he's healthy, that's another shooter. Um, yeah. So out west, you got Chris Paul. They're saying that. Well, first of all, he's been balling, but they're saying that he instituted a curfew for the team for the young guys, and like
Wow.
they're saying it was a he thing. It wasn't a team thing. Like he told them, hey, for that series, get your ass in the house. You need to be in the hotel or in the house by X time.
That's what's up.
It's
That's
leadership.
old
This
school
man's
right
trying to
there.
win. He trying to win.
Yeah, Devin Booker came back from the hamstring, giving him some minutes. People thought he was going to be out longer. It's dedication, man. When you got
Yeah,
somebody that's leading like that, you know, you want to run through a wall for him.
yeah. And they have a good team, man. They have a very good team. Um, what's that matchup? Now Phoenix is going Dallas. That should be. I
Yeah, they
mean,
gonna watch
listen,
Dallas.
They should beat Dallas probably in 5. Dallas, Luca will have a game. He'll go for 50 one night, and that'll be their one win maybe. But I think they
If
watch them in
if that,
5.
I don't think. I listen, man. I've been watching them all year. Dallas, I've watched, and people hate this. I mean, I know y'all hate this, but I look at every team and how they play my team, right? And my team, big disappointment this year. Probably should have been a playoff team. Um, but I watched Dallas. I watched us beat Dallas all year. Like I watched us beat Dallas all year. You take Luca out of the equation. They got Jalen Brunson now, who is getting a lot of traction and praise, but it's not gonna be enough. It's not gonna be enough.
Yeah, Jalen. I mean,
Enough.
he's been good. Um, it's just, are we getting a full healthy Booker? If he can't give him all those minutes, I think that's how I think Dallas squeaks one out one night. Um, Golden State gets Memphis in the West.
Yeah. Yeah.
Golden
Yep.
State is that's my horse coming out of the West. So I
They
I
taking
love
that in
John
five.
Morant, man. Yeah, I
They
love
taking that
John
in
Morant,
five.
but
Ain't
yeah,
enough out there. He's taking that in five. Miami and Philly, your boy Embiid is out. That's
yeah, he better
terrible.
put a mask on. He better put a
Yeah, it's
mask on.
terrible.
This the playoffs. This is the playoff. This ain't game 20 of the season. This is the playoffs. And not only is it the playoffs, it's arguably arguably the easiest path to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like I think Miami is a better team for them to play, Philly that is, than either
Right.
of the other two, Boston or Milwaukee right now.
Right. I agree.
So
I agree. And I mean it's a key series though, it's truly a key series. So
I
yeah,
know
I
Vari don't
mean,
want isn't gonna want to hear that, but it is what it is, man.
yeah, it's a key series. He's got to put a mask on. He's got to do something. Just it's tough, and that was a dirty play. Where he got hit, it's super dirty. But yeah,
Yeah,
Embiid, you gotta suit up, man. Put the mask on, get it popping.
got to. You got to. He finished the game. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right.
he finished the game without a mask. He did his interviews, and I know it's different because you're talking about a fresh injury versus something that's had a chance to sit and swell, and whatever. But listen, if he don't play, they don't win. Like that's it,
And then what are you preserving yourself for at this point?
right? Right.
It ain't nothing
Because
left.
yeah, this is your shot. While Harden is good, he's not the Harden that he was in Houston. You know what I'm saying? He's a 19-7 guy. And if Embiid doesn't play, you might get 27-8, but 27-8 is not going to beat that Miami team.
Not at all. And we
It's
know
just
he
not going to do it.
disappears. We also know
Mhm.
Harden disappears when it comes, to be the clutch time. So Embiid has got to play, man. I mean, at this point, you've been cycled around this point for the last 2 years. You've been in the conversation. You've been at the cusp. Injuries have been the problem before. You at this point in time, you got to put it all out there. This is what you do it for. You know what I
Right.
mean? This is it. Like either you gonna play because you can sit it out, and then what? You gonna be regretting that you sat out, didn't impact the team, and you're gonna hurt, you're gonna kill yourself. You're gonna hate yourself if you don't step up and say, "I'm gonna put it all on the line right now." What
In
else
a
is there to do?
potential right in a potential MB or MVP season,
Yep.
where we know MVP is supposed to be voted on based on regular season, but we're human, you know, we're human, and in the brain, recency bias always comes out. And if he sits out and Milwaukee goes in there, let's say, and beats up on Boston, he has no chance at winning that whatsoever.
Yeah, and I mean, again, this is what you do it for. This is what you do it for. It ain't if it ain't something lower leg, something you can't absolutely play. This is what you do it for.
Yep.
What are you gonna wait? What are you holding out for to be like, nah, I'll get healthy for, the next round. I'll get healthy for the next month. Nah, this is that month. This is that time. Gotta do it. You gotta do it.
Both of both of my picks are still in Philly and Golden State. Both of your picks are still in Phoenix and Milwaukee.
Hmm.
And both the VP's picks, Milwaukee slash Miami and Phoenix. Um, do you have any changes to your picks, or you still think those are your two?
I'm still riding, still riding. I mean, it's gonna
Yep.
be tough for Phoenix come Golden State time. I don't think they're gonna have any problem with Dallas at all. I think they're gonna mop the floor with Dallas.
I hate that I picked Philly. Um, I hate that I had to pick them, because I hate Philly, but not the city, just the fans. Um, but yeah, man. I still feel like Philly can win this series. I still feel like even if Embiid doesn't play game one, if he can get out there for game two, they can still throw together 4 games. And even if they can find a way, James Harden does go crazy, and they can steal one on the road for game one, then they're in an even better spot.
What is it about him in the playoffs? Like, what is it about him? Like,
Uh, Draymond Green said it. Some guys are not playoff guys. He
mm,
said it. Draymond Green said that last week. He did an interview and said, "Hey, look around. Some of your favorite players, they not this. Like they not playoff guys. These guys they're great players in the regular season, but when the shit hits the fan, these are not those guys." And he's one of them. As is DeMar DeRozan. I love the Bulls all year, and you said, "Oh, they're gonna be out," and you're right. They were
I
out. You
told
were
you.
absolutely right
I told you.
because DeRozan is just not that guy.
Yeah, I didn't have any faith in that team. Levine, any of those guys. When you look at it again, put the barometer again. I saw them split games with my Knicks, who didn't even make the playoffs. It's like when it came down to it and the lights got big, those guys disappeared. They
Yep.
just don't have it. And a lot of these guys too live at the foul line. So it's like if they're not getting calls, they're done.
Right. And we see,
Harden,
yeah, we've
Embiid,
absolutely seen the officiating change all year, but then also even more in the playoffs. I've seen a lot of plays where I'm like, yo, that
they
was a
letting it
foul.
letting it go. They letting it
Yeah.
go. And it's now come to the point where if you can't play through that and you live at the line, your whole game has changed. And Harden lives at the line. I mean, he
Hmm.
he gets some of the most phantom foul calls I've ever seen in life. And you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So when we had this generational conversation, look at it. Jordan played through the fouls. He played through the brutality of the game and scored. James Harden, if he ain't getting to the line, he's ineffective.
Yeah. And that's why he's got a, and that's why they need Embiid, because Embiid will get to the line. They've started actually giving calls to these big guys, which they weren't
Mhm.
for years,
Yep.
and it's good to see. But it's also like Embiid to get to the line. That could be one of the reasons why I don't want him in there is because to get to the line, he does have to cause mega contact, and if he gets banged up in the face, it could be a problem. But listen, man, it's you talking about the semis at this point.
Put that face mask on, bro.
You're gonna have to mask up. Um, Before we get into the draft, VP sent over his Minute. I'm gonna summarize it as much as possible. The first thing he started with was Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin visited Ukraine today and met with, or not today, rather, this week and met with their president and advised them that we're going to continue to support them in the war against Russia. Kamala tested positive for COVID-19. She was not in contact with Biden, no direct contact, so that's a good thing. She's been in full isolations at the VP's residence, and she was given an antiviral medication, Paxlovid, which is the Pfizer medication that was created for COVID-19. So I'm sure we'll hear some information about that afterwards, see how effective it was, which could be a good thing. Um, All right, and then this is where we care. This week during the meeting with Congressional Hispanic Caucus President Biden told members he's planning to take an executive order on student loan forgiveness. There haven't been true details from anywhere other than just rumors. The rumor is 10,000 loan forgiveness, which is trash. And even VP being the far leftist that he is agrees that it's trash. But let's talk that point real quick. Um, on the student loan front.
The funny part about it, right? VP, to your point, when remember he posted in the chat that tweet, and he was like, "This further hurt to your point," and he wasn't making a point to his defense, but the same guy that he loves and swears by, then in the other tweet that he didn't share, showed that how many black people are affected by student loans, right?
Mm, I didn't see
So
that.
Biden, if this is the guy going back to saying, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Do the right thing here. Giving billions of dollars to Ukraine. Get it. I get the humanitarian effort. I get it. But do the right thing here, champ.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, I understand that there's consequences and long term effects to it, right? Let's say you wipe out 50K or 100K or clear debt today, right? Well, what happens going forward? And that's a plan that has to be discussed through, and we don't make that kind of money. We're not in that kind of power, so it's not for us to figure out. But I do understand that could be a concern. But
Well,
my
we know going forward, make it more difficult to get these loans, make more education go into it, because the stuff that existed before, the little surveys and things after you've taken out thousands of dollars of debt, didn't educate you, didn't say anything. So we know just the way that business loans are scrutinized and things like that.
Mhm,
Hey, have these conversations with these kids. Also make more education affordable. you know why is
right,
education such a profitable thing in this country? Make it more affordable. Make the conversation we had. Hey, do the community college route. Do this. Educate our leaders, because again, we're talking about other nations. We're giving billions of dollars to Ukraine, but what are we doing to nation build our own people? What are we doing for our own people?
yeah. What's the other one? I don't know why it's escaping my head. That you can request, based on financial aid. They would need to. I think they need to increase financial aid, right? Like right now for financial aid, they give trash. They give trash for financial aid. Um, and so I think that needs to be increased to cover coursework in excess of community college coursework. If you're talking about long term, and you're worried about what's going to happen in the future and what the 50K does now versus people start asking questions 5 presidents down the line. So that's a thought. But I think at the very minimum, right, even if you do this, and this is what I brought up in the chat, very minimum, even if you don't get rid of student debt, just like you did with the medical debt, pull that shit off of credit
Credit
reports.
scores.
Unless you go default. If you go default, all bets are off. It goes on your credit, it gets reported, whatever. But I think if you, just because you have the loans, because it shows up before you even are eligible to pay, before you're required to pay, they
Hmm.
start to show up. So now you could be just finishing college, and you might have a pretty decent credit score, and you might land a good job, but now you're looking like, all right, let me go out and buy this house, and the creditors and underwriters are going to look and be like, you owe 70,000 in federal student loan debt, or 50,000, or whatever that looks like. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's going to change things. Not saying you won't get approved, because if you got decent credit and stuff like that, and your income's good, you're probably still going to get it, but it can impact your interest rate. Your interest rate can be higher, which can impact your quality of life, and impact the amount of money that you have to put back into the economy that people talk about so much. Like, all of that stuff, it's a domino effect. um let alone, I mean, then you talk about car loans, anything that you go for, that you're gonna try and build your life off of, are impacted by these student loans being on your credit. So to me, I think that's at the very minimum, um to do that, to at least get that out of there.
But again, right? When you just we always talk about being politically savvy and understanding these deeper issues and all these deeper meanings and connections, right? But when you look at it simplistically, just the average person just looking at what's going on, you're giving billions of dollars in the aid of Ukraine, right? It's fine. As a nation, when do we as a people say we're going to invest in the classes of our nation? Because we know that the upper echelon, the top level people, they're fine. They got tax breaks, they got money, they got education, they don't have to worry about these things.
Mhm.
When, as this wonderful nation, when do we start to look at every citizen and say, hey, a lot of the working people have these loans, they have this debt because they did this thing, they thought it was this way. Because let's be frank, a lot of these people, first, year, first generation college, not really knowing, and they get into this bag, and this is still the workforce of your nation, the working people of your nation. At what point do you say, if I eliminate these things, I know it's going to impact a great part of this nation to do more stuff? When do you reinvest in your people?
Mhm.
We've already seen statistically, and they've done the numbers. They could have canceled this 5 times over by now.
Yeah,
When
and
do you
that's
just
why
reinvest in your people?
you have people that are out here screaming college ain't worth it, like school ain't worth it. And I don't agree. I'm not on that side of the fence with it. I'm not on the side of the fence that people that say, oh, don't go to school because you could be an entrepreneur and you can make it. It's the same shit we talked about coming into this. Like, yeah, but what if it doesn't work? Not everybody that's an entrepreneur is successful.
Or but we
um
also gotten rid of the trades.
mm,
You taking that out. We taking all of that out. So again, when we talk about our nation being builders, being engineers, being this, being that, and we look at other nations like China and what they're doing with these kids, and they're making them advance, when are we gonna reinvest in our people?
yeah.
It's that simple. we we're a world eater, right? But we have so many of our major cities, and so many of our children reading at levels below their grades, and school
Right.
systems are terrible. you know we have major gun violence problems in cities all across the country. When are we really going to reinvest in our people?
Yep. um Tax the shit out of fucking that Twitter sale, right? Tax the shit out of shit like that. Like, you telling me this dude sitting on 44 billion to throw away not throw away, but to purchase a fucking social media platform. That like, what are we doing here? Like the numbers that are out there, these people are not being taxed accordingly. These promises of taxing them are not going through. It's not happening. Like, where are you, Joe? Where are you? I mean, I get it. You're not going to stop Elon Musk from having money. You're not going to stop that. You may not be able to stop him. May not have stopped him from being able to take 44 and throw that out. But these guys have gotten here because they haven't been taxed and because they found ways around it, because they manipulate stuff like Trump. You need to go ahead and beat up on bullshit fucking tax laws, increase, change, and impact these people, these super players. This top, what is it, 10% they say? 5% that run the world as far as
Yeah,
money goes.
yeah,
And in the United States, like it's crazy. It's crazy. I
yeah.
mean,
It's a
where
big
are
wealth
you?
disparity.
Where
Big
are
wealth
you?
disparity.
Meanwhile, I had to pay the fucking IRS again 2 years in a row.
Big
Thanks,
wealth
Joe.
disparity. I mean, and again, VP reminds us all the time of the politics behind it, the game that is, and but that's why we love the Liz Warrens, we love the Bernie Sanders. We hear all of that. We know all of the technicalities, but at some point, we as a nation have to just reinvest in our people, and you just got to
Yeah,
make it right. And we know what it is. We know what to do. The writing's on the wall. Just make it
indeed,
happen.
indeed. Um, NFL draft. How do you feel your team did? I'm seeing a lot of high grades for the Jets so far.
Yeah, we
Think you guys
Joe
made some good
Douglas.
moves.
He got us back into the first round. We took Jermaine Johnson, who you know, great prospect supposedly. I'm not mad. I didn't Garrett Wilson we took at 10. Uh I wanted Traylon Burks. I would have wanted him to trade back that 10th pick somehow and keep our second rounders. But ultimately I think he had a good impactful draft. We're still not there yet. We still need some more guys. But I mean, this was one of the more promising drafts that we had since 2002, or 2002, whatever it was. So I'm pretty happy, man. And only thing is, man, I tell you, the Buffalo Bills, their draft, oof. I mean, you talking about a team that's already good. I mean, they got some guys, man. They took Elam, first round, University of Florida. I'm a Gators fan. This dude he played all his career in college from the moment he stepped on that campus. True cover corner. Now opposite other guy, Trey, can't remember his name. Other guy they got, I mean, that team just got significantly better. They got a true running back in James Cook, brother of Dalvin Cook. So, wow, we got better. Them dudes wasn't sleeping either. So, yeah,
Yep.
it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I think I feel like teams are doing either more research, um, or they're getting the right voices in the room with them to stop them from making some weird decisions. Because I felt like there were some good drafts based on need, right? We
Mhm.
all a lot of times we find these impulse picks, and the Cowboys are one that are always like that, right? The year that I think it was Manziel came out, and what was the guy with the girlfriend that was fake that everybody was making the memes about?
Man, Tateo.
Manti. Like the
Yeah.
year that those guys came out, the Cowboys took Travis Frederick, a center, and everybody were like, "What? Why?" Including me, including our fans, right? The fans of the Cowboys, and yeah, it turned out to be a really, really good pick. Sure, he's out of the league now, um, due to some health issues, but he gave some really good years, and he was flexible. So the reason I bring that up is Cowboys did that again. But first round they went O line. The kid from Tulsa, Tyler Smith. Um, Second round they went with Sam Williams, defensive end, pass rusher. Um, which we need, right? We're not getting to the quarterback, and we have guys that can play in the back. We have linebacker play, and when you throw Micah in there, if he does, rush the quarterback as well, and D Law, now you're doing all right. And not to mention we lost Randy Gregory, so backfill there, and then the biggest one that I really like personally is the one person I'm actually familiar with because I don't really follow college football, but I do play college DFS, as much sense as that makes. And the one guy that I did use this year because he was pretty cheap was Jalen Tolbert,
Hmm.
um,
Wide receiver.
for wide receiver for South Alabama. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying, "Oh, he would be a great fit for this team and that team and this team." And people on my timeline, I would love to get him, right? And then he goes to Cowboys, and immediately the shit changed. Oh, that was a bad pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's tough being a Cowboys fan, and it's probably tougher being a Cowboys hater. But I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do. Losing Amari Cooper this year. CeeDee Lamb's going to have to step up. Hopefully, Michael Gallup gets back off of his injury, and then you add this young kid. I think hopefully he'll be able to eat a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting off season, and it's gonna get more competitive. We watch some teams really build, like you said, build through some need, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, and we can't wait till it comes around. So Baltimore though, oof,
Yeah, they traded away.
they haven't had a Pro Bowl receiver in their history ever.
They traded Marquise Brown away. Tennessee traded AJ Brown away.
Hmm.
Receivers. So
But
receivers
they
are just
drafted
starting.
a good one though.
They did. Receivers are just getting better. I think, and there's more of them, and I think that's why they're starting to get running back treatment in a sense.
Yeah, I said that.
Debo Samuel never
Yep.
paid, did still not paid, right?
Yep.
Odell still sitting on waiver, well, sitting available
Free
in free
agency.
agency.
Yeah.
Granted, he's injured, but surely there's plenty of teams out there that could. Seattle can use him. I
Yeah.
mean, there's teams out there that can absolutely make use of Odell Beckham to shit. I wouldn't be, too upset if the Cowboys were to get him on a decent 1 year deal. Like
Right.
if they're not paying out the ass and they can get him for 1 year, the question is when is he going to get back? And I think that's probably why he's still out there. Teams are not sure on that.
Hmm.
But I mean, Debo Samuel still not paid. The 49ers haven't paid him,
And they didn't trade him.
and they
And
haven't traded
they
him.
did. I mean, the Jets supposedly offered them a first and twos, and they didn't give them up. So it's gonna
Right.
be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I think they're ultimately gonna try to work something out with him. But it's gonna be interesting because if any time to trade him, it would have been Thursday.
Yep. Yep. They
So,
better find a way. They
hmm,
better find a way to make it happen because that dude. Listen, I mean, I know we're dealing with a pretty small sample size for him,
yeah, not even 4 full years.
right? But it can, if it goes anywhere. Listen, 80% of him is better than 100% of 60 to 80% of the league at wide receiver. Like,
So it seems.
and he's a multi-tool guy. Like, he's not just your wide receiver. Now, he is small, right? When you're talking about a receiver in height, he's small, short.
Mm,
So,
nah, he's 6 feet.
right, small. You
Nah,
know
I
what I
ain't
mean?
small. That's not
That's a
small.
slot.
Small,
That's a slot
small
guy.
for no small for wide receivers 5'9", 5'8". That's
Well, that's
small.
tiny. That's tiny. Those are guys that don't work out. They tend to be your tool guys. Like
You talking about the Edelmans, the Steve Smiths, the Wes Welkers? Them guys. What you talking about?
you got to be a unicorn.
I mean, yeah, the
Go
5'9" guys.
past
They
go
work.
past those three.
There's other guys I can't think of off the top of my head. But they
Right.
work.
But when you talk about the 6'4", 6'3", those guys work.
They don't
Those
always
and
work.
don't and they get paid.
They don't always work. Some of them are unicorns. It's just are you that guy? You not that guy? Debo happens to be that guy. 6 feet is average, and I think he's 6'2".
You just like
Um,
Debo because you look like him. Like that's
nah,
the only.
I mean, I was with you when I was with you when you were saying like, "Yo, let's relax on this guy," like, because he had a season where he was hurt, then he had a productive
Hmm.
season last year. He only has 3 total receiving touchdowns. So
Yeah,
my
yeah,
thing was, if the Jets did all of that to go get him, you got to be careful on how you're going to use him. And if you don't use him right, your production's not going to be the same. And I'm not confident, even though Shanahan, not Shanahan, Lafleur, as our offensive coordinator, comes from that 49ers tree where it's going to be the same shit. I'm still just not confident of what we have coaching wise. So I wouldn't want to give up so much when I don't know what our coaches are going to do. Because
yeah,
right now, you know, Joe Douglas had a phenomenal draft, but he's still on the line. His ass is still on the line. Robert Saleh, you know, rookie head coach, you got to give him some time, but he ain't got that much time either. So I rather us not market stuff because I don't know how long these guys gonna be here.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And Debo winds up being here for 4 years, 28 million. You know what I'm saying? And
A
we get a
year.
new coaching regime in 2 years.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, I like Debo. I still feel the same way. Like I feel like he's good. But it's still to me the numbers that he's looking for are extremely high. They're very, very, very
he
high.
wants Devontae Adams numbers,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
and
and I was debating with somebody. He was like, "Oh yeah, he definitely should get Devontae Adams." I'm like, "Are you serious?
no,
Devontae Adams?
mm-mm.
Like,
There,
what?
and
What?"
he and there's a risk. Like once you sign him, you got to start using him one way or like you can't continue to have this guy running as a running
Running
back.
all
Like you're
crazy.
yeah.
Exactly. 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 For that
Otherwise, you're
matter,
risking injury.
just get a running back. You know what I mean? And that's
Mhm.
another thing the Jets did. I was pounding the pavement. I said Brees Hall. I said this before. Brees Hall was the number one running back in this draft. 6 foot, 200 pound guy, running 4.3 speed. I didn't want to say it. Dare I say it? But he has the potential to have Adrian Peterson type impact just from his athleticism alone. Catches out the backfield. So again, to your point, why why go trade your 10th pick, then have to pay somebody $30 million a year to get a Debo Samuels, who you don't even know how dedicated he's gonna be to your franchise long term. And then we talking about Devontae Adams numbers. Devontae Adams.
Yeah,
Like
no.
people were really saying this guy with only 4 years, 3 total receiving touchdowns. Sure, he had 8 or 9 rushing touchdowns, but you might as well just get a running back.
Hmm.
So we talking about paying this dude 30 million. We talking about him getting Devontae Adams money when we know Devontae Adams can line up as a receiver and do what receivers do.
And do what you
We
want. Yes,
we can't
exactly.
say that we. I'm not saying Debo can't, but he wasn't used that way. So you're telling me you're gonna get this dude Devontae Adams money? Devontae Adams. I couldn't believe people were debating that. I can't believe it. As if Devontae Adams is just some other guy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he just looked great for his team. Like, and to your point, if you're not used that way, um, it's not gonna work out, and it's gonna take scheming, right? Is he a system guy? Because that's the worst thing that could happen is you guys jump out the window, give him 24 million a year, 25 million a year, and then he turns out to be a system guy, you know, and,
Exactly.
and and you get 700 yards, a season with 2, 3 touchdowns. Like that's not what you want at 20 something million a year. So,
Exactly. And
um,
I just find it to be disrespectful that we were having that people were having a conversation with me saying he should get Devontae Adams money. That's nuts to me.
yeah. Um, shit. What else? What else is going on? Anything else on the draft front?
Big winners, man. Shit, Jacksonville, man. When you talking about a team that was in the pits last year, they went out and attacked defense head on this year. They
Again.
they got some guys, man. They got some guys. Arizona got some guys. It was some pretty big moves. The Bears, the Bears, they made some swings, but I don't know what they're doing to be competitive in that division. But the only thing in their favor is Green Bay really ain't do nothing either. They got the defense. Green Bay went and got defense. They did take the kid second round from North Dakota, Christian Watson. Him and Aaron Rodgers might be nuts. If he can not have so many drops, him and Aaron Rodgers might be nuts. That might be sick. So a lot of teams, man, a lot of teams made some interesting moves. Like I said again, the Bills, man, I hate to say it, they should run the AFC East, barring no injury for Josh Allen. If Josh Allen goes down, they're done. But that team, man, they drafted some guys, man. If you thought they played defense last year, just watch this year. It's gonna be scary.
Hmm.
It's gonna be scary. I hate to admit it, but what can I say?
Yeah, I'm interested to see some of these young kids get on the field. It seems like they're not making them wait seasons upon seasons anymore.
No,
They're looking for
no,
that immediate impact. You know,
yeah,
young, hungry, ready to go guys. Um, so I think that's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
huh? Yeah, yep, indeed, indeed. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait, buddy. Still watching the Johnny Depp trial space.
Yeah,
I
they
didn't
actually
realize
put
Johnny
pictures
Depp.
out today of Amber Heard. Not today. I think it was sometime this past week of the actual doo doo
Yeah,
that she put in the bed.
I didn't know Johnny Depp has such a cult following though.
He
That
does. I'm
that's
seeing that
pretty
too.
interesting to see.
Well,
Like
that's
this,
that Pirates of the Caribbean.
Johnny Depp has been phenomenal for years though. We're
Yeah, but I
talking
mean
we're
that. I
talking
think
about the
that.
80s.
No, I agree with you, but I think that movie created like the cult. Like that's the cult movie. That's one of those. That's one of those movies that people were running to, lining up the night before to to catch at midnight or be what I mean, like
I think he's
Lord of the
had
Rings
I agree with you on that piece, but I think we forget, this dude was Edward Scissorhands.
oh yeah, yeah, no, I don't forget that he was good in there. He was, I mean,
The Sleepy Hollows, the Knife Gates, the
yeah,
shit going back to TV when he was on 21
Blow,
Jump Street. Blow.
Boston George and Blow. Shit,
Yeah.
if you go all the way back, he was in no, that was Robert Downey Jr. Weird Science, or I think he was in there with them. I think they were
Nah,
both in that one.
nah. I don't think he was in that.
I know Robert Downey was in it, but I thought both of them were in it. But yeah, I mean Johnny Depp, he's got a catalog. Like he's a great. He's an
He's
all
a goat.
time great.
He's a goat for sure.
Um, and so yeah, so I can understand. I can understand it. And then not only that, but you also have the times we're living in right now. It's just we're in a time where everybody wants to be at odds, and if being at odds means you stand for uh, equality for men today, then that's where everyone is. You know what I'm saying? It'll be
Mhm.
forgotten tomorrow. It'll be forgotten next week when the trial ends or whenever it ends. But for
Mhm.
now, yeah, people are there.
Yeah.
So she's crazy. They said they called for to get her up out of there in uh Marvel movie. Or not
Oh,
Marvel. I'm
DC
sorry. I'm
Aquaman. Yeah.
sorry. DC Aquaman.
Yeah. She lost that role. Yeah.
Oh, did they actually pull it?
Well, actually, I'm not sure. I'm not
I
sure.
know. I know they were calling for it heavily, and I think she might. I think she might.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I think it was already. I think it's already been done. I think it was already in production. So I don't know. That's gonna be interesting to see. I can't remember if she was replaced, if she was out. I feel like she was, but I can't remember, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Good. Um. Yeah, I'll continue to watch that to see how it goes, to see if he, how he makes out on that. But I think overall, um,
Ah, no. So she is she is in Aquaman 2. She reportedly Her role was reportedly cut to 10 minutes
Damn,
as a petition. Over 2 million people petitioned for her to be removed from the film.
damn.
So yeah, yeah,
I'm excited. Tay Diggs went on Twitter yesterday and said there's gonna be another Best Man movie.
oh, okay,
So I'm excited for that. Um, listen, man. Before we get up out of here, your boy Pete Davidson.
it's not my guy.
Pete Davidson got. Well, first of all, he's using this thing. He's using her the right way. He had the White
Absolutely,
House. He was at the White
absolutely.
House for dinner last night, but he got all their initials on his neck tattooed. Kanye's kids and Kim.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta blame
Kanye's
Kim.
gonna hurt him.
You gotta blame Kim. I mean, and we were talking about this, and Vari was like how irresponsible Kanye's being. This is the level of nonsense though that he's dealing with.
Yeah,
You know,
you're going
the
you're going too far now. Like you're going too. It's too like. Listen, I get it. You guys are in love. You think you're in love. Like you haven't. We've seen this movie before. Like we know the
exactly,
ending. She is.
exactly.
She's got bodies, dog.
She, she's
She's
not
got
gonna be with you,
bodies.
champ. She's not
And,
gonna be with you.
and maybe
And
maybe she is right. She's 41. We know how things happen, right? So she might be ready to kind of live that life. She got her little young 28-year-old kid, whatever. But like even still, get her name. You know what I'm saying? Which he did. He got something for her. My kids, dog. Like my kids. My
yeah,
kids.
yeah. And the crazy part about it all, right? When the sex tape thing hits, she calls Kanye.
Right. Now you're
So
trolling. Now you're trolling me.
yeah,
Now you're trolling.
it's just bad. It's bad. It's nasty, man. And it's again one of those things. Why do we care? When you're talking about millions of viewings and followers, and this is the world we're in. And it's nuts to see. It's nuts to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
It's nasty work.
I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting to see. Kanye's been quiet for a little bit, but I'm sure it's gonna. I'm sure it's gonna come out.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Yep.
Anything else that we need to cover?
Mm, no, no.
Just checking my list here. No, pretty quiet. Decent
Mm-hmm.
week.
Yep.
So yeah, 2 games today for NBA, 2 games tomorrow. And then we will be back next week. NFL draft. Training camp started late this month, right? It's now May 1st, so or not
It's
not
training
not
camp,
not training camp, but
OTAs.
mandatory OTAs.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna come quickly. Football season's gonna come quickly. I'm happy about it.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, if we don't have nothing else, I will do the Vari outro today.
Indeed.
So Castworthy Podcast. Thanks for tuning in to us. Whether you're listening live, listening afterwards, where you can catch us is live on Sundays on Facebook Live or YouTube Live or Twitter Live for that matter. You can follow us. You can like, follow, subscribe, comment, interact on all social media platforms by searching Castworthy, CASTWORTHY. On Instagram specifically, we are Castworthy_podcast. You can listen on the major platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, YouTube if you want to see this dashingly handsome face. Um, Besides that, tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, comment, subscribe. Our time is valuable, just like all these people that that think they're doing it big, power washing, and making cakes. Um, I don't know, man. Check on your people, check on your family. Some people, and even though life is getting back to normal, things are still, stressful out there. If you're watching the news and looking at the media in general, it's stressful. They're forcing shit down our throats. Pause. Um, Otherwise, man, we'll be back next Sunday. And we will have some new banter. Shout out to VP. We missed him. Hopefully, TJ did well in his bowling tournament today. Good luck to him if he hasn't already started. And we'll catch you guys next week, man. We're out.
Indeed.
Peace.